I recently got the Platinum Trophy on Spider-Man Remastered.
Be greater.
And I had so much fun, I knew I had to go back and 100% complete all the DLC, as well as get all of the DLC trophies. I did accidentally get 2 of the DLC trophies in my original Platinum playthrough of the game. You can also find that video on my channel. These 2 trophies were for maxing out a benchmark type and achieving the highest rank on a Taskmaster challenge.
Not gonna lie.
When you take all of that into account, I was starting the DLC with 53 out of the 78 trophies. And now that that's all out of the way, let's get into it. The DLC starts right after the events of the main game, where due to us basically taking down every crime faction there is now a power vacuum in New York which is being fought over by the Muggia crime family. When the police raided the homes of one of the Muggia crime families, they found a high-end piece of art, a painting called the Maria. MJ calls us with a tip that they're going to attempt to steal it again, so we go to the museum to prevent this from happening. When we do, we find they're already in the process of trying to take it, and we have to fight off the thugs and keep the painting safe. But just when we think we've saved the day, Spider-Man's ex and sex on legs herself, Black Cat, shows up and steals the painting. Turns out she's not interested in the painting, she's interested in a drive that is being stored in the painting, which has information on the Muggia crime families and their Don, the Hammerhead. Black Cat gets away from us, and that is the first mission done, as well as my first trophy for the DLC. The cat came back. Complete the Maria mission. Black Cat is sexy AF. We can't lie. We also get introduced to screwball challenges, which are exactly the same as Taskmaster challenges, except this is done by a girl who's just trying to get followers on social media. So she gets Spider-Man to do this random stuff in hopes of saving people and uses it for clicks. But they have the very annoying component of photobomb challenges, which is where you need to do, whether it's like a stealth challenge, a combat challenge, whatever it is, you need to do this in a certain spot to complete the photobomb, which is just very annoying. After doing some random stuff around the city, we get into this foot chase with Black Cat. We find out she's working with Hammerhead to get all these USBs, as ages ago there was a peace deal agreed upon across all the Muggia families that they would keep all their assets in one place on these USB drives. Hammerhead has therefore kidnapped Black Cat's son and enlisted her to get all the USBs so that he can bankrupt all the other crime families and be the ultimate leader. There is a lot of sexual tension and flirting between Spider-Man and Black Cat, and that completes the mission, which gets me another trophy. Here, kitty, kitty. Complete the Black Cat chase. I'm in love with her. I am in love with her. There are collectibles in the DLCs. Each DLC has its own unique collectible, as well as the crimes and the screwball challenges. These collectibles are get ready for a law dump, so Spider-Man gets a phone call from a detective about to retire from the NYPD. He is the detective that caught Black Cat's father. Turns out Black Cat is like a family tradition thing. Her father was a robber before her, and he stole a bunch of paintings the detective could never find. So Spider-Man is trying to find them for him. Those are the collectibles. There isn't a trophy for getting all the collectibles, but you do of course need them for 100% completion, which there is a trophy for. You also need to complete all the crimes. I'm doing one here. Thankfully, they improved the crimes because they got very repetitive in the main game. It's just either beat up a bunch of people or stop a car. In this one, you act as the Spider-Drone going around defusing bombs, which is just a nice change of pace from already doing like 35 beat-em-up style missions in the main game. This was also the last crime I needed to do in a district, which gave me a trophy. Disorganized crime. Complete all crimes in a district. I don't know why that's a trophy when you've got 100% of the game anyway, but I'll take it. Unfortunately, despite just being DLC, you still need to do the boring MJ missions. Oh, not an MJ mission. No. Oh, why? If you watch my original video getting the platinum of this game, you'll know I ignore the story as much as possible and just do all the stuff around the city. And I continued that trend here where I got another trophy for getting spectacular or better in all the screwball challenges.
So close to perfection.
Screwy. Get spectacular or better in all screwball challenges. Man, I hated them. Taskmaster challenges was so much better. Back to the story, we decide to infiltrate this shipyard along with Black Cat because we believe her son is being held here by Hammerhead. But Black Cat, of course, betrays us and locks us in a safe, revealing she never had a son, which Comes as a bit of a comfort to Spider-Man, even though he's been lied to. He was worried the kid might be his, so you are not the father, the greatest sentence ever. He hears that, and he just kind of cracks it for a little bit, and it turns out that Black Cat has been doing this for love of the game. She's stolen all the USBs of her own accord and given Hammerhead 4 fake ones. So she's on top of the world right now, and that's where we leave it for a little while. We, of course, make it out of the safe, and in the process, we learn that Hammerhead knows Black Cat has stolen from him, and he has rigged her apartment to explode when she enters it. Spider-Man, of course, is on his way to try to warn her. He calls her up, she doesn't listen, and that ends in this brutal scene. That is the end of the DLC, big cliffhanger ending, and of course, we get a trophy for finishing it. Hi, Felicia. Nice. Complete the Follow the Money mission. Nice trophy name. I see the vision. With everything done, I went and found the last of the original Black Cat's paintings, and it turns out we'd been duped the whole time. He was not a detective that worked on the original Black Cat's case. He was, in fact, the original Black Cat, the current Black Cat's father, and he tells Peter to look after her, and that is 100% completion of the DLC. Seduced by the city. 100% complete. City that never sleeps the heist. Okay, and the long con. Complete the Like a Fiddle mission. We were played like a fiddle. Moving on to the second DLC titled Turf Wars, a little bit of time has passed and now all the Maggia crime families are infighting for control over the city. We get tipped off to one of their hideouts where we infiltrate it along with Yuri from the main game. And we discover that Hammerhead, of course, is planning to kill the dons of the other 4 families. And they've also been stealing stable equipment. The mission ends with Yuri's men being massacred by Hammerhead and her herself being captured. Spider-Man, of course, does show up and save the day, but it is too little too late. Yuri is very pissed off at Spider-Man, and just in general, she is on the warpath. We find out that Hammerhead has been attacking convoys leaving police precincts, so we go on an escort mission to protect the convoys as they drive through the city. The convoys get attacked by the Maggia crime families, and of course Spider-Man goes after them. Turns out this was all a big distraction so that Hammerhead could raid the police precinct and get access to Project Olympus, which we don't know what it is yet. But again, he massacres every police officer in his wake, which furthers this rift between Yuri and Spider-Man, and of course sends Yuri further and further down the warpath. I also get another trophy for completing this mission. I ignored the story for a bit and went around doing all the stuff around the city, and I got the trophy again for completing all crimes in a district. This DLC actually didn't have any collectibles, but they did have Hammerhead fronts I needed to take down. These are of course the bases, same thing as the main game. And this was the last one I needed to do, which of course got me a trophy. And literally right after that, I once again finished all the screwball challenges.
And I look good doing it.
To finish off the DLC, we need to go and save the other 4 Mafia Dons who have been captured by Hammerhead and are literally about to get tarred, which I thought was like pretty dark. We then face off against Hammerhead, who is now wearing Sable Olympus armor. We of course defeat him and he's about to be arrested, but Yuri is not playing that shit and just straight up executes him. But there is a post-credit scene where one of his goons manages to revive him, and that is the end of the DLC story and of course the trophy. I just had one more side mission where Screwball legit sets me up to get killed by her fans for views. And of course I beat them all, and that is the DLC 100% completed. In the third DLC, titled Silver Linings, MJ and Peter figure out that Hammerhead is still alive and still searching for Sable gear, which prompts Peter to go after him. Silver Sable herself then shows up to try to reclaim her gear, and she learns from one of Hammerhead's men that he wants to have a private meeting with her on a rooftop. Spider-Man begs her not to go as it's probably a trap. They get into this argument, which results in a fight. Sable then ends up going anyway, and of course Spider-Man was right and she gets captured, which ends the mission, giving me the first trophy of the final DLC. Us and Sable do get into a fight with Hammerhead, who is basically General Grievous at this point, and he is genuinely about to like unalive both of us, but pleased to say our queen, she's alive and she saves our lives. Sable does get fully captured and abducted by Hammerhead, but we can simp for our queen for a little bit, so it doesn't even matter. Not all of the DLC trophies are story related. Some of them are just for miscellaneous tasks you can do throughout the game. And I do get one of those right here for getting a 100 hit combo. Quickly back to the story, and Black Cat does give us the data drive she has on Hammerhead and the Magia crime families, which allows us to locate Sable and save her from their torture. We then find this DLC's type of collectible, which are walkie-talkies that have recordings between a member of the Magia crime families and a therapist that gives details on crimes and things that have happened in the past. It's basically The Sopranos. Right after that, I finally had enough tokens to fully upgrade all my gadgets, which was a trophy. Back to the story, and we confront Hammerhead finally after Silver Sable and I figured out that we could just kill him if we melted the metal plate in his head, which just recalled like getting into this fight, wearing him down, and then she would literally fly over him and blast him with a jet, which is insane. After beating Hammerhead, me and Silver Sable decide we are besties for life, but it's best to go our separate ways. And that concludes the DLC story, which this one was very short. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. And of course, we get a post-credit scene of Peter training Miles on how to be Spider-Man. I will be playing the Miles Morales game if you want to hang out for that. Like and subscribe, all that. And finally, that's the end of the story, and I get the trophy. Back to the city to finish everything off, and I started by beating all the Screwball challenges. After that, we find out that Screwball's hosting a party with all her fans, so we of course go to infiltrate it and capture her. And then you have to chase her around the city, which ends up kind of being like a gauntlet of all the Screwball challenges you've previously done. But when I finally catch her, I get the trophy for finishing this quest line. I collected all the walkie-talkies, and from listening to them, you work out that this is a sting operation set up by Yuri. She's paid off this therapist to listen to this guy from the Magia crime family, talk about all the crimes he's committed, all the people he's killed, all of that stuff. So then Yuri would have evidence to carry out her own personal justice. She ends up killing this guy, and then her and Spider-Man have a big argument because Spider-Man's got his boring no-killing rule, like, you know, that thing, like, if you kill them, we're as bad as them. It's not true, it's boring, I hate that trope, but we do get a trophy for this. The next trophy was again for taking out all the hideouts in the DLC, and then there's a little side mission where you just protect this guy from being attacked from Magia crime family members, and you get another trophy for this. It's just for, like, helping them get all their equipment back. And then I think you help him get a job as like a math teacher. I was kind of checked out by this point, but here's the trophy.
Right now. I'm just gonna bask in this good feeling for at least the next few seconds. Or until something...
With the DLCs now 100% completed, I just had a few more trophies to clean up. I also have just realized that there is 79 trophies in the game, not 78. And look, I'm not going to go through and change every single text because that's going to take me like hours to do. But yeah, I made a mistake, 79. But I got this trophy right here for doing a hideout without getting hit once, which I thought was going to be a lot harder than it was. But I just went to like the easiest hideout, like the first one you ever do. And I got it really simply. I only had 2 more trophies left at this point. One was for completing the game in New Game Plus, and the other was for completing the game on the hardest difficulty, which of course could be smashed out in one go, so I got to the grind. Look, I don't mind games having a trophy for beating it on the hardest difficulty, that's like so fair, but a New Game Plus trophy can just fuck right off. Like, I just don't want to do that. Right here, like, luckily you can skip most of the cutscenes, but this still took me like 7-8 hours of time. And thankfully, because my Spider-Man was fully upgraded from my first playthrough in the DLC, I got through most of it pretty easily. There was no struggle at all until this boss fight, because you like take so much more damage on the hardest difficulty. You can only get hit like 3 times in this boss fight before dying. But this was the only challenging boss fight or anything of the game. It took me about an hour to get done, but the rest of the time was such a breeze. I just had podcasts going on in the background, etc., etc. And look, before I show the actual trophy pops, I will just say the first DLC was great, the second was a bit and the 3 just didn't really grab me, but This game's obviously amazing. My first playthrough, I had so much fun. Doing the DLC, until this part of doing the New Game Plus, I didn't really have any issues with it. And yeah, look, one of the greatest superhero games of all time, no doubt. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe. I'm going to do Miles Morales. I've got heaps of more videos coming. And yeah, here are the last 2 trophy pops.